What is amazing about this little story is that Jesus was in the boat, and his presence did not stop the wind from coming against the boat. He was in the boat, but the storm was still raging against the boat. It baffles my understanding to note that the true God from true God is present in your life, and yet you are still being beaten by the storm. See, Jesus is in the boat, but his presence did not scare the storm. The bottom line of it is that the storm still came. This is really, really interesting. It's quite interesting to note that Christ is in you, but you are still facing issues. I want a real church here now. You're still facing issues in your life, yet there's Christ on the inside of you. As a matter of fact, you confess that almost on a daily basis. Christ in me, the hope of glory. Yet the storms are not a respecter of the Christ that is resting on the inside of you. There is this kind of confusion that can rise in our lives when we know that the fullness of God is on the inside of us, and yet we're still going through some things that can blow our minds away. Do you know what it means to know that if God be for you, who can be against you? And yet you are sick. You could be so sick to the extent that somebody says, well, just accept the sickness. It is well. It is well. You know, there is this thing of it is well. Jesus was in the boat, yet it didn't stop the storm. A lesson you must accept in life. God is in Japan, but there's still tsunami. God is in America, but there's still hurricanes. Wild wind destroying properties, yet God is presently present. Are we now suggesting that God is sleeping? Touch your neighbor if you are sitting here. He is there, but there's trouble. Jesus was inside that boat. It's as if he knew that the storm was coming. As they sailed on, he fell asleep. I want to believe it was the only journey where he slept. The rest of the journey, there was no storm, he didn't sleep. This kind of God is interesting. He knows that something is coming, and he just go on there under the deck and start sleeping. And then the storm came. It was serious. You know, they didn't wake him up when the storm started. They thought they could handle it. I'm finding somebody here. You know, with all these verses you know about God, you can start quoting those verses. As long as the pain is not intensive. When the pain starts gradually, you start talking like you know who you are. Talk to me. Yeah, I've been there. You know, when the pain starts coming gradually, you sit down. And if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus lives in me, he shall give life to my mortal body. You start quoting those verses. But when the sickness gets so intense, you stop quoting verses and you change the gear to tongues. You start speaking in tongues. Rabamota, yeka, yeka, yeka. And when the thing is not stopping, your tongue starts slowing down. Robo, sha, ba ba ba. I want to talk to a real church. You can die in his mighty presence. With all power present, yet you go. If you think that he's absent, then you were not taught well. The bottom line of it is he is present. So why do we go through these seasons of our lives and he doesn't say anything? Look at this. With great authority, Jesus rebuked the howling wind and surging waves, and instantly they stopped and became as smooth as glass. the lake becomes so smooth. No ripples, no waves. What kind of authority? Great authority. The Lord is talking to you right in the midst of a storm and is saying to you, why are you fearful? Have you lost your faith in me? Shocked and shaken, they said with amazement to one another, who is this man who has authority over winds and waves that they obey him? Jesus was not trying to make them to become impressive about what he has done. Who just caught that? He's talking to them and their eyes are fixed on the miracles. Jesus is addressing something in their lives that if they get it, next time when the waves will come, they will not be looking for Jesus, but they will rise and do something about it. Yet they are fixed on the miracle. Now, the Holy Spirit said something to me about this verse. And I'm going to show you that quickly. As long as Jesus Christ was with his disciples on the earth, he was the one to command the storm to stop. But when Jesus came out of the grave, he handed over the authority. Mark 16:17. He says, and this sign shall follow them that believe. In my name, I will cast out devils on their behalf. Is that what he said? He says, in my name, they will cast out devils. They will speak in new tongues. They will lay hands on the sick, and the sick shall recover. They will do that. I will not do it any longer. I did it before. Rebuke the wind, calm the storm, and you were enjoying yourselves. But after the resurrection, I no longer possess that authority. We're going to get so real, so deep today. I want you to listen to me and listen good. Listen good. After the resurrection of Jesus, something changed. Jesus cannot drive the devil on your behalf anymore. I'm sorry. James 4:7. King James Version. James 4:7. Look at it. James 4:7. Look at it. Submit yourself therefore to God, and God will resist the devil for you, and the devil will flee from God. The church is still quiet here. Respond to me if you get it. Submit yourself therefore to God, and do what? Resist the devil, and he will flee from Jesus. He flee from you. Jesus is no longer rebuking the devil for anybody. He says, you submit yourself to God. I'll teach you what that is. Then he says, resist the devil. You resist the devil. I will not do it again forever. You resist the devil, and the devil will flee from you. You have to understand what is called the believer's authority. You are going through some things in your life, some issues in your life, and you're trying to come from it, and you think you're going to pray to God and say, oh God, remember me. It will not work.